Wait for a couple of you to pop in. Hope everybody's having a good day. Coffee. Always a good thing. It's always funny with StreamYard. Bang, see? Yeah, it's like I get hit like all of a sudden with a few people. Oh, hey, Adrian, you're home. Loretta. Okichi. Yesy. Little Miss So. Hope you guys are having a super day. Aussie in the house. Whew, wow, that's fast. Jeez, there's a bunch of you in here. Weed. Bush Baby. What's going on? Bush Baby, that's a new one to me. You're new. Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to talk about something that's totally not to do with Nova Scotia. I'm going to leave a link right now in the, hey, Camo, what's going on? I'm going to leave a link in the chat. I'm not going to play the video. I want you to watch it for yourself. It's very tastefully done, but there's a message in there. And the message in there is what I talk about. Many of you may know me now at this point, because thank you for coming and subscribing about the Nova Scotia stuff. And of course, I'm not going to let up on that. That is my focus. However, at the end of the day, I have a much bigger mission, and my mission entails something much more serious, and something that I get heavily censored about, and was the reason for my return to YouTube. Because I did take a bit of a hiatus where I did a lot of learning. And so the video is by Steve, LTT, a good friend of ours, good friend of mine. And he is making a point that I think we all need to understand about who really are our friends in this world, who really pulls strings in this world, and why do we allow that? I don't know what exactly I want to say beyond that, but it's good to have people's, gee, what could that be? Friends. It's always good to remember who your friends are. Friends help each other. Countries help one another. There's a country in this world that doesn't help other people, but it asks for everybody's help. Now, that's not a popular opinion. It is very frowned upon, shall we say. However, it is well-founded in my opinion, and it is one that, despite the censorship, needs to be openly discussed. Everybody needs a friend. That's true. Everybody needs a friend. And frankly, I am sick and tired of humans getting used. So watch the video. Think about the video. Think about world geopolitics. Think about why things go the way they do. How there's a lot of manipulation in behind the scenes. Politics is a theater. It's a theater for all of us to quell us and control us. We actually believe that we are a part of something, when in factuality, we're not. And we're the laughing stock. And we get used We get bled dry monetarily. We get bled dry with human lives, morals, and we get toileted. And that has to stop. And despite their push to shut us down, it's not going to happen. It'll only happen if you let it happen. Now, I don't want to detract from anything to do with Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is Nova Scotia, and everybody can get behind Nova Scotia. What I talk about, some people will take serious offense to. Those of you who do not know me, some of you may take offense to that. And for that, I apologize. That is not what I'm about. I think anybody who knows me knows I don't like to pick fights. But also, if you fight with me, I'm going to fight back hard. And I will stick up for my friends, but I won't stick up for people that use me. I don't tolerate that are dishonest to me, that control me or attempt to. And so that's about all that I wanted to say at this point. I really encourage you to go and watch that video and think about it. And Steve is not attacking the person in that video. I know him by now well enough to say that's not what it's about. There's a message below that. And that message resonates in YouTube. It resonates in politics. It resonates in banking. It resonates in Hollywood. It resonates in pretty much every aspect of our life. But we have been getting duped. And the duping really needs to stop. And people, despite the conditioning which I went through, and I was like, oh my God, when I started to see what was going on, it was really alarming. Like, it was beyond alarming. And that's why I quit making YouTube, because I was getting used. And I learned that. I was getting used to push a message essentially about disliking and causing dislike towards another group. And that was not, even though what I said was true and all of it was factual, it was socially engineered, just like a lot of stuff is. And when I saw that and I realized the money behind that and who's doing it, I felt used, and I felt very ashamed, frankly. I'll be quite honest about it. I was extraordinarily ashamed, and I didn't know how to cope with that. So I went away and I researched for, what was it, about a year and a half. And I researched every day, all day, every day. Lots. And read lots and lots and lots. And scrubbed through the things that were deleted and the censorship that has gone on for a while. I left a comment over on Slipton's channel because he made a very good video as well about that. It's not a new concept. Censorship is not a new concept. It's very old. So funnily enough, a lot of the materials I read would be in archive.org or old history books, or before it got really deep and started to get into other things like Bibles. Oh my God. Messing around with the Bible, messing around with the Word of God, the Word of Jesus. You change it. You buy the companies that produce the Bibles, and then you change it. And then you run around and preach this stuff, and people are like, okay, you know, I'm going to take the word of my preacher. He's a good guy, and he probably is a very good guy, But he doesn't understand that he's getting used. And you keep pushing it, and it just infiltrates. It's a cancer, and it spreads. And it's a cancer of hate, and sadly, and I'm not saying that they obviously preach that in church, but what I'm saying is that in church they make you love people that maybe don't necessarily love you. They're not going to be there for you when the time gets really down to the crunch. Frankly, I would like to see if they've ever been there for anybody. So I understand, and I apologize if that offends anybody. But if you don't understand that by now, I would strongly encourage you to look for yourself, to read, to follow the money, to see what has gone on with our society for so long. The degradation of morals is one concept of this, one facet of that. The degradation of morals. You know, they push stuff in Netflix and movies and all this stuff, and they own it. They own it. So they tell us this is the way it's supposed to be, and people believe that. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. People are supposed to be actually helping neighbors, helping one another out. If somebody's in need and you're broken down on the side of the road, I'm going to stop. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I'm going to stop. Who sends all of the immigrants our way? Wars. Who causes the wars? Who pushes the message? You must have lots and lots of immigrants. Frankly, if you listen carefully to many immigrant stories, refugees stories, they don't want to be here. They don't. They would rather be doing their own things with their own people. And I totally understand that. I lived in Vietnam, and, you know, Vietnam's great. It's wonderful. But it's not my home. Everybody has a home. And immigration, God made it so that we would all move slowly and work together with one another in a good symbiosis. It's not a mass flood. That's engineered, right? And you get told that this is the way it's supposed to be. I still pick up hitchhikers. Good for you. Right on, Loretta. I like the signs down. You know, I used to work in Arizona, and I would drive by a prison, and it would have a sign all the time. It says, "Do not pick up hitchhikers in this area. It's illegal." So please go and watch that video again. I will post the link here. I'll put it down in the chat. And this message is not a message of hate. I'm not a hateful person. Frankly, you do what you want to do. You think what you want to think. Last night was an interesting demonstration of that. There was one person in the chat who was getting quite ornery or upset with somebody, and I said, just stop it. You don't need to. Just because somebody has a different thought than you or whatever, hey, that's great. Bring it to the table. Let's talk about it. You don't insult somebody. That's wrong. You don't pick fights with people. That's not really natural within us, right? We want to help people, even though that's been really watered down and tempered. It's about taking care of each other, taking care of our families, spreading love, not in commercial way where they have the, you know, those letters or whatever, and you put them on the wall. That doesn't mean anything. That really means nothing. It's works and deeds. That's what shows love. It's not something that you need to brag about. It's not even something that you need to talk about. You just do it. And it gives you a good feeling inside to help one another, right? Because that's what a friend is. A friend helps each other out. That's why we're here, right? Tara needs help. Nova Scotians need our help. And there's a bigger goal at play at the end of the day, right? So we can work on the Nova Scotia thing, and the Nova Scotia thing will further that message of we do hit back if you hit us. But only in self-defense. Stop it. That's all. Stop. Don't use us. Don't use your monetary system on us. Quit trying to control every single aspect of our lives. Because it's wrong. It's wrong of me to go and control you, just as it's wrong of you to control me. Don't use the internet. Don't use DARPA and all of their crap. Whatever. If you want a vaccine, all the more power to you. Go and have it. If you don't, super. Let's celebrate uniqueness and individuality. Not in the crappy way that our politicians tell us, not in this multicultural or the buzzwords, the fucking buzzwords all the time. You read their internal documents, you go high enough, into these real think tanks, they're borderline insanity, I would say. I can't make heads or tails of half of the things that they write. I studied English in university. I don't think I'm completely illiterate. You can't understand a word these people say. They don't understand it. They've gone so far off into la la land, and it's not about right, it's not about left, it's not about conservative, it's not about liberal, it's about using your brain. And how many people hear that voice inside of themselves, I call it God, hear that voice inside of themselves and say, there's something very wrong with this picture. My taxation system's using me. I'm constantly living in fear of losing my job, losing my house, losing my kids. Somebody's going to rape my wife. The crime rate goes up, murder out of control. Look at the statistics, people. Look where we are. Look where we allowed ourselves, because it's personal responsibility. We allowed other people to do this to us. And we can take that back, because you're talking about a very small group of people. But they don't have your best interest at mind. They definitely have no allegiances, but only unto themselves. I said in that comment to Slippin, like, the history books and the Bible do have the answers in it, but we have to look deep enough. Jesus spoke. Are we listening? I'm not going to let up on the Nova Scotia stuff, I assure you. But also know, to my new subscribers, I do have something else much bigger to say. And I didn't get a chance yet quite to say it. YouTube got very upset with me when I started to say it before I quit. I came back, they got upset at me more. That's okay. I don't shut up. I don't stay down. I'll keep picking myself up. And you know what? There's going to be people around me, my friends, true friends, that will pick me up. Nothing will defeat me except myself. That's it. That's all. I don't care what you throw at me. Do it. I'm not going to let fear and dishonesty rule me any longer, and nor should you. What is my profile pic? Always been curious. Aussie. It's Poirot, the best-selling author of all time, Agatha Christie. Hercule Poirot always found a way. Used his mind. The Little Gray Cells. I loved murder mysteries when I was small. How many books did she sell? Let's just see. That's an interesting fact. Lots of people don't even know who she is. Maybe they heard the name, Murder on the Orient Express or something. Miss Marple, Poirot has Agatha Christie sold. Use the brain. Okay, so let's see here. World's best-selling novelist. Very interesting story about her too. She has billions of books she sold. With a B, billions. Somewhere between 2 to 4 billion. And what was her books about? Using the mind, solve crime. And they're very interesting. I would always read them and wonder try to outsmart and figure out what was going to happen next before it happened. And that's why I used him as my avatar and the name of my channel, because the Little Gray Cells can defeat almost anything. Not everything, but almost everything. And falling prey to, just immediately hit back as soon as you're hit. Hold on, take a breath. Last night, I did that, right? Let's take a breath, walk away, say, okay, and come back to it and say, listen. And that person, I don't want to censor that person. They can say whatever they want, but don't attack somebody else, because that's wrong. And they're in. I'm not saying that person's part of that, but if you're knowledgeable and you've been around on the YouTube circuit enough, just like the real world, it is the same thing here. There are people on YouTube that are here that want nothing, and they have very, very subvert methods that they're using to infiltrate different groups of friends and cause chaos and drama. That's their purpose. That is what they're there to do. Because people don't naturally fight. They're supposed to naturally get along. But equally, just because you have a quiet demeanor and you're calm doesn't mean that you're prey. And I certainly am not prey. Have a good day.